under here. So I want to get a little bit more team specific now, and I want to start off with a rooting interest for you. So a lot of talk about the Notre Dame running game and how much of a step back is it going to take when you lose 2 first-round running backs. So 203 rush yards per game last season. I multiplied that by 0.85 in the old phone calculator. That gave us 175. So over under 175 rush yards per game for Notre Dame in 2026. And for the purposes of this, we'll just say full season, not just regular season. So that would include any postseason games as well.
I'd go over. I think I'd go over. The schedule during the regular season makes that very possible. I'm looking at it right now. Rice, Michigan State, Purdue, Stanford, Navy, Boston College, and Syracuse. 7 teams. I could list more on there. I could list North Carolina on there. Could list Wisconsin on there. Could list SMU on there as a team that could have trouble stopping the run. Now, I don't know what happens when they get to the postseason. I believe they'll be there. They might not be rushing for 175 yards per game. But if they hit like 250 or 300 in a couple of those, just trying to run out the clock, that's going to do a lot for the rushing average, won't it? So I would be inclined to say over. I also think, and I know this is kind of one of the central questions about Notre Dame going into the year, I also think they'll be way better on the ground than people expect.
Agreed.
The line in front of them should be pretty damn good. And even though we know Aeneas Williams, who was a third-string running back behind Love and Price, and he didn't get a ton of work last year, they've got about 6 other guys next to Aeneas Williams, all of whom were 4 stars, if not higher, and all of whom bring something different to that running back room. It's a really eclectic mix of players. They've got the bruisers. They've got more of the scat back types. They've got the guys who are, out there like human joysticks, right? Like they've got a whole collection of guys that can do different things that I think we will see pieced together over time. So they will find their guys that they can put in there and rotate through to keep the running back room fresh. And I would expect, again, against this schedule in front of them here, I just don't see a lot of resistance on the ground. So I'd be inclined to go over.
Yeah, I'm hard over on this, and my hot take is it would not surprise me if the running game, at least from like a yards per game standpoint, was as productive as last season, even though if maybe the explosiveness isn't quite the same, the yards per carry isn't quite the same just because of what you mentioned. And I think the other thing that you have to kind of look at with this too is I imagine that there's probably 6 to 8 teams on this schedule that they're going to beat the ever-loving crap out of. And when you're running up the score, you're running the clock out at the end. But also now with the new 5-for-5 rule, it's the end of the game, and you're not throwing out Joe Blow walk-on to carry the ball up the middle and run 2 yards and get blown up by the linebacker on the other team who's trying to make a name for himself. You're going to have Javian Osborne and Jonas Walton closing out games because there's no downside to playing them. You can't save a year of eligibility for them anymore, and might as well get them in there, get them some experience. And I don't know how in the weeds you've been on your Notre Dame reading this year, but I'm now a card-carrying member of the Jonas Walton is going to do something this year that's going to turn some heads.
I mean, they love him. They absolutely love him. I mean, Aeneas Williams is sort of the first name, lightly used, but is somebody they can use out of the backfield, right? There's a skill set. Kedron Young is sort of like the power back. It seems as though he's kind of trending in a positive direction after, some injury concerns, but he might be the guy that used short yardage and goal line. Nolan James Jr. is another name who impressed in the spring, in addition to Walton. And then, Osborne, I just think there's so many names that they could throw at this problem and they're all just a little bit different, that it makes the room really, really interesting. And it may not be just one guy that pops, but to the point, they're going to be playing games where I agree, they're going to be blowing teams out. They're going to be blowing teams out. And it's not the hardest schedule in the world. That they probably won't be able to lean too heavily on that schedule for a playoff case or whatever. But like when you're up by 35 points, and you've got a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback back there who you don't want to get hurt, you're handing the ball off a lot. That's what you're doing. and they've got the line in front of them that they should be able to still push these defenses around, no matter what state of the game they're in. So I tend to agree with you. Statistically speaking, I think they'll probably be close to where they were a year ago. In terms of talent, it's tough to replace Jeremiyah Love and Jadarian Price, 2 first-round backs. I don't think they've got that. But I don't think it's going to be so precipitous a drop-off that suddenly they need to reconstitute the whole offense.
Next question, moving